should.
Then after we had that, we didn't want to.
Yeah.
That's cool.
But then that's when.
I remember there was a game.
You still serve on any boards in the town?
It was like 126
Just,
to 120.
no, I don't.
Also crazy.
I'm on the old Fallon
Yeah,
Community
we're having a good time. I lead
That's really nice.
and gymnastics.
Although we have a lot of city members.
Yeah.
Because
It's fine.
At least you got it.
I was on P and Z for a while, the economic development.
Wrestlers and gymnastics teams on the floor. Is that right? It's insanity. Yeah. So we went to that, and so we try to go to.
I was just thinking on the way down here, I thought, you know, I need to hang up some of this.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm coaching right now, so that's been,
She won't.
that takes a lot of time too.
Yeah,
He's
and
been looking and looking and looking, and he's had a lot of them fall out from under him. And so now we're.
You guys ready?
Yeah, we're ready.
Let's do it.
All right, we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order and welcome everybody to the January 15th Planning and Zoning Commission. If you've got cell phones and such, if you don't mind muting those, and please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, with Mr. Ellis joining us remotely, it appears we have quorum, so we'll have a motion and a second to start the meeting.
Motion to open the meeting.
second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
See no objections. We'll move on to the application for conditional use permits. And they will be heard during tonight's meeting. The commission will vote on those applications and make recommendations to the county council. The application will then be scheduled to be introduced to the council on Monday, February the 10th. The public comment for conditional use requests will be taken during tonight's meeting and the council meeting on Monday, the February 10th. Public comment on the conditional use permits will not be taken at any other meeting after that county council meeting. The following documents are introduced as a matter of record for tonight's meeting. That is the Unified Development Ordinance of St. Charles County, including the zoning maps, the 2030 master plan, which includes the 2030 future land use plan map, and the rules of order and procedure for the Planning and Zoning Commission as adopted at Resolution 2101. At this time, we will pull off the table the conditional use permit for 1335 Charlestown Industrial Drive. This is the conditional use permit 2408, owned by KLB Holdings. The applicant is J&I Hauling. The current zoning is light industrial district. They're requesting a conditional use permit for an automobile storage yard. We'll take the applicant to come forward and share a little bit, and then we'll take comments from staff and, or I guess we start with staff, right?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. We'll take comments from staff and then we'll move on to the applicant.
Okay, yeah, so as you said, tonight we're reviewing a conditional use permit request for an automobile storage lot. This facility would serve as a holding site for vehicles seized by the federal government before they are transported to an off-site location. The proposed use includes 40 surface parking spaces, an office for 2 employees, and indoor vehicle storage. The property itself has been zoned light industrial since 1968 and is a part of the Charlestown Industrial Park subdivision recorded back in 1980. The park currently has 23 businesses, several of which already involve vehicle repair storage. This property sits at the center of the industrial park, approximately 250 feet from the nearest homes in the Town West Mobile Home Park, which helps minimize its impact on residential areas. The site features a 7,150 square foot office and warehouse with 2 bays, along with paved and graveled parking areas. Last fall, the applicant enclosed the property with a 6-foot chain link fence topped with barbed wire, which includes visual screening for added security. One key consideration for this application was distinguishing it from a vehicle impound facility as defined in the Unified Development Ordinance. Vehicle impound facilities involve storage for vehicles retrieved by title holders or their agents. In this case, the vehicles at the applicant's site are held temporarily and aren't subject to individual claims. Because of this distinction, the 8-foot privacy fence required for impound facilities isn't necessary here. The existing 6-foot fence with screening meets the requirements for an automobile storage yard under the conditional use permit. Looking at the concept plan, there's also provision for parking and storage in the required front yard. While this is typically not allowed, the existing configuration qualifies as a legal conforming use for industrial zone land, so no additional changes are needed. The applicant has proposed some site improvements to address operation and aesthetics. The first is applying an asphalt-based sealer to the parking area to reduce dust emissions. The second is planting 6 redbud trees along the perimeter to enhance the visual appeal. The third is adding wall pack lighting fixtures for better site visibility. One thing I do want to mention is that typically standard wall pack lighting can cause light pollution and glare. So to address this, the applicant will need to comply with the county's outdoor lighting standards to minimize these impacts. Regarding stormwater, the county's Development Review Division is still assessing whether any improvements will be required during the site plan approval process. Currently, runoff from the property flows into the storm sewer inlet connected to a detention basin on a nearby property. From there, it flows through the Town West Mobile Home Park and into a creek, which the system is maintained by the City of St. Charles. As with all conditional use permits, CUPs are evaluated using 5 criteria outlined in Section 405-510B of the Unified Development Ordinance. The first criteria is regarding public health, safety, and welfare. Given the limited scope of the proposed use, the industrial setting, and the buffering provided by fencing and landscaping, staff believes the project poses no threat to the public health, safety, or welfare. The second criteria is the use and enjoyment of neighboring properties. The existing buffering, industrial surroundings, and landscaping should ensure that the use doesn't negatively impact neighboring properties or hinder future development. The third criteria is the aesthetic or scenic values of the surrounding area. With the screening from the fence and landscaping, the vehicles on site will largely be obscured from view, minimizing aesthetic concerns. The fourth criteria is whether or not the proposed use negatively affects property values. Staff has no evidence to suggest that this project would diminish property values, particularly with the conditions we recommended. The final criteria is whether the proposed use disrupts the orderly development of the area. The proposed use aligns well with the industrial and commercial character of the area and won't impede future development in the industrial park. With all 5 criteria met, staff recommends that the commission recommend approval of this application with the conditions outlined in the staff report. These conditions address landscaping, vehicle parking, vehicle condition, and outdoor lighting.
Any questions for staff?
Jared, did we have any letters from the surrounding?
No.
Okay.
All right. Applicant, I do have to swear you in here.
Okay.
So under the pains and penalties and perjury, do you swear to tell nothing but the truth and only the truth?
Yes.
Please state your name and address for the record.
Jeremy Rowan, and the address is 1335 Charlestown Industrial, St. Charles, Missouri 63303.
All righty. You can just give us a little background on what you're doing. I know staff just did a great job there, but
I say that pretty much covered a good chunk of it.
They did.
So essentially, we are a subcontractor for a company that's based out of Houston, Texas. They hold the contract with the U.S. government to store and maintain vehicles that have been seized by the federal government. We cover eastern Missouri, central and southern Illinois. So essentially, anything that any of the 3-letter agencies, if they come and take your vehicle, I'm responsible for it. We've had the contract for going on 6 years now. Never been any issues. Usually hovers around 50 to 60 cars total between the inside storage and the outside storage. We hold on to them. They don't just sit there. We go through and start them once a month. Essentially, their goal is to keep them in as good or better shape than when they were picked up. They'll stay there until the court cases are closed out. At that point in time, they go up for auction. Not open to the public other than for viewing for the auction. And that's one day before the auction. All auctions are held online. There's nothing on site there. As he stated, the only 2 employees that are on in the building is myself and one of our accounting team members from the company. That's really about the basis of it.
any questions for the applicant? Seeing none, thank you.
Thank you.
At this time, we'll open up public comment. Anybody wishing to comment on CUP 2408? besides that? See none, we will close public comment for 2408 and bring it back to the commission. Does anybody have any comments for staff or the applicant?
I guess for the applicant, have you reviewed the recommendations for approval on this?
Come on back up.
You have? Okay. And you have no issues with what staff's proposing on this or recommending?
No, sir.
Okay. That's all I had.
Is there a motion to approve?
We'll take a motion to approve with the 7 recommendations as stated in the application.
So moved?
Second.
All right. Ms. Barr, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Baker?
Yes.
Who's gone? Mr. Cornwell?
Yes.
Mr. Ellis?
Yes.
Mr. Fromm?
Yes.
Ms. Kistner?
Yes.
And I vote yes. So CUP 2408 is approved.
Hey, Roger.
Headed to council.
Hey, Roger. Mr. Ellis,
Yes.
how does your dog vote?
He votes more treats.
All right, thank you, sir.
Do you want to, will this be on the next council meeting?
February the 10th.
February 10th council meeting.
All right, knowing that's our only action item and seeing none tabled or continue items, we've got the minutes from September the 18th that we have yet to approve that are up for approval tonight. So once everybody's had a chance to review those, we'll take a motion
to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any objections?
Aye.
All right, we also have the minutes from
Brian.
December the 18th for a motion for approval in a second.
Motion?
No.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roger, seconded.
Second for Roger, and all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any objections? All right, the next item on our agenda is the Planning and Zoning Division updates, and we also have to elect the officers for our 2025. So, Robert?
Quickly, a couple items that was reviewed by the Plan Commission recently. The County Council took action on the Towers Road rezoning and conditional use permit, and those were both denied on Monday night. They also approved the Huffmeister Road rezoning from agricultural to RR. I want to let you know we have a community development specialist beginning work in our department. Lori Hayes will be sitting right over here at this table, so we're going to be welcoming Lori, and she's taking up where Marisa Olmsted left off recently. So really happy to have her starting. In terms of the county's master plan, a visioning workshop was held in December. So we were really pleased with the outcome for that. We had really good participation. We had like a broad spectrum of people participating, which was great. The consultants have completed a draft of the existing conditions memo. It's called a memorandum, but it's like 100 pages long. And it's sort of like the baseline for producing a master plan. So they are just beginning to draft a master plan now based on past inputs. And just to give you an idea of the timeline, they're expecting that a draft master plan before the county council in August 2025. So between now and August, there's a lot that's going to be happening, including input from the Plan Commission as well. Now, should this be approved, the second phase for this is the Unified Development Ordinance update, which could consist of anything from relatively minor updates to just a major overhaul and a complete rewrite. We just don't know yet, but we're going to be really seeking your input on that because you all have direct experience like every month for years now on what works and what doesn't work in your eyes. So we would really value your input when the time comes for that. Other than that, I'm trying to think of anything else. Okay. No? Okay.
All Alrighty. We also, during this meeting, need to elect the officers' position, obviously, for chairman, vice chairman, and secretary. I guess we'll likely start with chairman, any nominations, and then vote on that, move on to vice chairman, and then move on to secretary. So anybody like to nominate any of our fellow group for chairman?
I nominate Mr. Roger Ellis for chairman. Roger, you okay with that? Again?
Oh, I'm okay,
All right.
again.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Any other nominations?
I think we need to take a vote on that, don't we? Or can you do them all at once? Okay.
You can call for the nominations,
All right.
take votes on each.
So seeing no other nominations, all in favor of Mr. Ellis for chairman, say aye.
Aye.
Any objections? All right, seeing none, we will move on to vice chairman. Any nominations for vice chairman?
You can nominate somebody.
You want me to know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. We're nominating you again, so.
All right.
I'll second that. We're
Motion
nominating you.
And a second for myself for vice chair. Any other nominations?
I'm just gonna have the record show, since it wasn't said, that it was Kyle Shell who was
Yes.
nominated.
Kyle,
sorry.
sorry.
Sorry, it's fine.
Kyle.
I was just trying to get them stirred up there, taking notes. So,
I am already starting.
Could have been you.
you.
So a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any objections? All right, seeing none, moving on to secretary.
Is Jennifer the secretary currently? Okay. I nominate Jennifer Barr for secretary.
I will second that.
I have a motion and a second for Ms. Barr. For secretary, any other nominations? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any objections?
Aye.
All right. So
Yeah, aye.
there's the slate of commissioners. Any other business to come before us tonight?
Motion to adjourn.
Have a second?
Good
All in
job.
favor, say aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.
That's kind of.
I think the last time was
quick.
Took me longer to get here.